Doug, in amidst all the other activities that are available in Long Beach right now, let's face it, the really important stuff is going on right here with SAFE. Now, you've started an initiative to, well, let's face it, raise the bar and set the bar, if you will, from here on out for flight instruction. Tell me about that initiative.
Well, the initiative is to really revitalize general aviation through pilot training reform. We're well aware that there are many issues that revolve around the flight instructor. The fatal accident rate, which has been flatlined for how many years now? More than 10 years. Low or slow student starts and a pretty horrendous student retention rate. These are the major ones. Ancillary things are certainly sales of aircraft. If people aren't becoming pilots, they're not going to buy airplanes. All the other ancillary equipment, headsets, yada, yada, yada. It all revolves around the flight instructor as the fulcrum. And if we're really going to address these issues, we have to start changing the way we conduct the business of flight instruction, the way we train our flight instructors, the way we market what we do. Many of the issues that were addressed yesterday in the AOPA student retention meeting, all of those issues. But we want to do more than just talk about it. We're coming up with action items through this initiative. We plan to have a symposium. The symposium will be in May 4th and 5th in Atlanta, Georgia. At the end of that symposium, there will be action items with people mandated to get things done. We really look to move ahead and not just talk about it.
Now, another moment of freedom from Cirrus Aircraft. Freedom through safety. Perhaps the ultimate freedom is confidence, assurance, and peace of mind. We design it into every personal aircraft we build. It's the security that comes with knowing you're flying the plane with a parachute. The breakthrough concept that launched the Cirrus phenomenon.
Well, part of the problem, and with all due consideration of everybody involved, we've been listening to AOPA today talk about, frankly, things that they were talking about 10 years ago and 20 years ago, and to a certain extent 30 years ago. Nothing's changed under this whole particular paradigm. How do we make a change?
I think the big way we make the change is to understand that if the community, the entire community, does not work together to solve this issue, we're all going down. We're in a spiral dive here. And recovery from a spiral dive is certainly different than a recovery from a spin. We don't push the elevator forward. We got to start pulling back immediately. We are in that spiral dive. And I think that the general aviation community is starting to really, truly recognize that. Through the power of community, if we really come together in a true ecumenical, nonpartisan way, every organization working together, every stakeholder, and every stakeholder is every single pilot on up through the organizations, the manufacturers, et cetera, et cetera. If we truly all work together, I would like to think, yes, I might be a Don Quixote, the eternal optimist, I would like to think that we can achieve this.
Well, a couple of weeks ago, I started an editorial series, and one of the facets of that editorial series was my postulation that nobody was more important in this revitalization or the saving of aviation, or the way we put it was basically that there was not going to be any next gen without now gen, was the flight instructor, that the flight instructor was key to all these things. How do we get this industry to realize that the most basic building block in this starts with the CFI?
What it requires is to stop pulling punches. You know, we've been pulling a lot of punches. The fact of the matter is, and I don't hesitate to say this, in many ways, almost the vast majority of the flight instruction that is given today is substandard. It is poor. The way the system is set up, the way many flight instructors get their certificates, that needs to be changed, whether it's done through academia. We certainly are well aware that the FAA practical test standards are absolute minimum standards. But if we can work to create the universities to understand that we have to teach to a much higher standard, including the flight instructor. Whether we can mandate the FAA to change regulations so that there is an apprentice flight instructor, as there are in other countries. Australia, for an example, a flight instructor there cannot sign anyone off for a practical test without spending several years as an apprentice.
If you own a Cirrus today, or if you are considering the purchase of a new or used aircraft, consider this. Avidyne, in conjunction with the country's leading Cirrus sales and maintenance facilities, has launched the G3R9 program that combines the purchase of a late model, low-time Cirrus aircraft and the addition of the Avidyne Integra Release 9 avionics suite for much less than you may have thought, and certainly much less than purchasing a brand new aircraft. G3R9, combining the best airframe, best engine, and best avionics for the best value.
It's going to be done through community. It's going to be done through SAFE creating a mentoring program to make people understand, to make the flight schools understand that their instructors need to be mentored by folks who've spent a little more time doing this and understand the true things that are required.
Doug, I can't wish you anything but the best of success with all this, and we look forward to seeing you this spring, May 4th and 5th in Atlanta.
May 4th and 5th, and certainly, well, I know, should I mention Sun and Fun, but...
You can, I won't.
Yeah, I unfortunately, these are the things we've got to fix, Jim. You know, when someone like you comes forward and says what needs to be said, we have to get...
Greatest sin in the world.
Yeah, we've got to get the community to listen, to stop sweeping these things under the carpet, which has been done for so long. You know, there are the iconoclasts like yourself, like Bob... just gone seen.
Iconoclast my butt. Let's call it what it is. Pain in the ass.
Call it what you will, okay? For folks like you, Bob Miller, and some, you know, sometimes, you know, people have said the same thing about me, same thing about Bob Wright. But that's what it takes. That's what it takes. We can't sweep this under the carpet anymore. No.
Thank you.
My pleasure.